For this project, I studied Bulladelphia in the context of civic media. Bulladelphia's mission is to reshape misperceptions regarding pit bulls in the city of Philadelphia, educate the public about what wonderful pets, family members, and companions pit bulls can be, serve as a source of information and referrals for pit bull owners, and ultimately reduce the number of pit bulls that are killed in shelters by promoting foster care, adoption, and responsible ownership. Bulladelphia is a branch of PAWS. PAWS is in Philadelphia, is a not-for-profit, and basically allows those that are interested in foster care, adoption, or the like to participate. Bulladelphia, though, is a branch in terms of educating its owners as well as those interested in pit bulls and believe that pit bulls get a bad reputation. It allows them to communicate virtually, but also learn at the same time that pit bulls are nice dogs. It's nature versus nurture for them, that they're unfortunately used for dog fighting and the like. Some of the inner workings of Bulladelphia include Dana Spain, who's the president and the former owner of the Philadelphia Style magazine, Sarah Schoenleber, who's the development manager, Allison Lamond, who's the outreach coordinator. Their staff includes 30 full-time workers who have had numerous experiences working as well as volunteering in animal shelters. The reasoning behind the not-for-profit includes the breed-specific legislation, which does not exist in Philadelphia but exists in Miami and Ontario. Basically, with breed-specific legislation, the legislation seeks to reduce dog bites by confiscating and euthanizing dogs who remotely resemble pit bulls. Bulladelphia uses breed-specific legislation as a jumping-off point to educate those interested in pit bulls, particularly in that it's an unfair legislation. It's very hard to scientifically prove, and unfortunately many pit bulls who are otherwise known as being nice dogs are confiscated by police officers and can be euthanized. Fortunately, as I said, Philadelphia does not do this, but it's just a nice resource to educate those interested in animals, particularly pit bulls. In relation to civic media, Bulladelphia has reduced transaction costs. Their transaction costs are basically zero because they have no overhead costs. It's just the website and the internet that they're paying for. Clay Shirky brought this up in his argument in terms of transaction costs. In continuing this, there's a managerial hierarchy. Bulladelphia maintains the org chart where communication flows downward and not upward. For instance, Dana Spain is seated at the top and volunteers are seated at the bottom. My own relationship to Bulladelphia was that I tried to contact Sarah Schoenleber, who is the development manager. I first contacted her through email, and she said to call her, so I did. I called her about twice and didn't get a hold of her. So I wrote her an email a few days later just requesting that she answer a couple of questions for me. And she responded, but unfortunately did not answer any of my questions, which just kind of goes to show that the managerial hierarchy is still intact for Bulladelphia, that it's very hard to reach someone who's higher up in the org chart and get a sense of information as well as just communicate. It's very hard, and their management is definitely obscured. Another point related to civic media is the ladder of involvement, which we mentioned in class and has 3 rungs. The first rung includes sharing, which is most seen with their website. It includes the smallest amount of involvement. Fundraising can also be a part of this. The second is cooperation, which can also be seen through the internet, but since Bulladelphia does not have a Facebook page, PAWS does, so PAWS's Facebook page can be seen as a source of cooperation. Their third rung includes collective action, which can also be seen, as I mentioned, with the first rung in fundraising, but most notably seen with their events and fundraising, which are linked with fostering identity and collectively collaborating. Everyone that's included with fundraising all have to work together. They have to know what they're doing, they have to know what the cause is, and therefore work collaboratively together and use collective action. The obscurity of management, as I mentioned before, includes Sarah Schoenleber, who I tried contacting. Some of the reasons behind the obscurity, though, include euthanasia, which is often considered a very dirty word in the business of rescue. I looked to the Philadelphia Inquirer as a source of information, and I found an article about a director of a local Philly shelter who remarked that euthanasia is very dirty and that many directors don't want to talk about it. It's not discussed. The dogs that do go down may just have bitten some of the volunteers, and therefore the owners decide that it's in the best interest of the shelter to put the dog down. Bulladelphia, or PAWS, considers itself to be a no-kill shelter, but even no-kill shelters, unfortunately, have to euthanize at one time or another. So, in looking at the Philadelphia Inquirer article and comparing it to Bulladelphia, Bulladelphia may have an obscured sense of management because they don't want to be found by volunteers or those looking to adopt, and they don't want the public to know that they may in fact euthanize, even though they advertise themselves as being no-kill. So what are some of the real issues behind dog biting? I looked to the Humane Society, and the correlation between breeds and dog biting, particularly those of pit bulls, there's a small, if no correlation between it. It's actually small dogs that are known for biting and larger dogs that are not. But training and understanding a dog's behavior are crucial to the issue as a whole of dog biting. If you're training the dog to not bite and teaching them positive reinforcement for not biting, the dog is not going to bite. And training is very crucial for many owners in Philadelphia who unfortunately don't have the time, don't know how to train their dog, but should. So relating back to Shirky, Bulladelphia also, as well as dog fighting, dog biting, is related to the issue of latency. Many of the articles I found with the Philadelphia Inquirer brought up that the Philadelphia community doesn't really recognize the dog biting or the pit bulls issue as a whole until something's surfaced. Relating back to the Philadelphia Inquirer, I also found another article about several people that were bitten by dogs, but it was all in the course of one weekend or 3 days. So Philadelphia didn't really recognize that dog bites may be going on and the issue of pit bulls may be going on until many different incidents come to the surface, and then it becomes a part of the public eye. So thank you for those who helped me research, gather findings, and create this presentation.